Well, a flavour wheel is a device which helps really get over that problem that everybody suffers from, and that is how do you put a sensory perception, a taste or smell, how do you put that into words? They're quite ubiquitous now. You see them used in different parts of the food industry, but I would point out they were invented by Scotch whisky. Originally the first flavour wheel was a Scotch whisky flavour wheel, and we have an example of one here, and you can use it in two ways. You can start from the inside and work out, or go from the outside and work in. So let's just say have a whisky, I examine that by tasting it and smelling it, and just some ideas come to mind, some flavours come to mind, but I can't really put a word to it. So the outside of the flavour wheel has some suggestions about what words you can use. I've seen flavour wheels with over 100 different words. You can some much simpler like this one. So they give you words, and so you can say, just for the sake of argument, we look at this and say vanilla. That's a vanilla type compound taste that I get. Then I can look into the inside of the flavour wheel, and that starts to suggest part of the manufacturing. It starts to clump those flavours together. Where did that flavour come from? In this particular one, it's woody, so it's a wood-derived congener. I can use it the opposite way, and I can look at, well, I just want to examine what are the woody elements, what are the fruit elements within this whisky. So I look at that, and then I've got some descriptors on the outside. I can use that to focus in on the fruitiness with that. And often I will just score on the inner 6, 7, 8 descriptors, and just score on that, even though the flavour might vary between the individual whiskies. So they're very useful for coming up with a description, coming up with a language that you can use, and you can discuss that language with friends and colleagues, and you can start to have a vocabulary in common. You can also use it to look at, has there been a problem in the manufacture? You know, they say there's been a drift in the floral area of that. Where is that area? And then you can use that information to say, well, that's a fermentation issue, that's a mash tun issue, or a cuts issue. Depending on where the flavour is, you can use that to help in the manufacture of whiskey. I think the most important thing about a whiskey wheel is there's nothing magical about them. You can make your own whiskey wheel. I make them up all the time with different products. I make them up just for my own use. There are no. This is for this is a whiskey wheel, which is for a matured product. It's not a. A lot of it would be redundant if I was just examining new make spirits, for instance. So I would just make a quick flavour wheel for new make spirits, and for me it acts as an aide-memoire for that particular new make spirit, and I can very quickly start to see drift or change within that new make spirit. So I would recommend using a flavour wheel, make your own, find one that you're comfortable with, and use it in your own studies of whiskies.